Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome back to the H Cup presented by BTS. We're going to be taking a look at a game between VG.Reborn and Invictus Gaming. This is actually game number 2, Lyrical Dota, joined today by Danelie Casts. And Danelie, in the previous one, we ended up seeing VG.R look like they were going to do pretty good, and then Invictus came back and just completely rolled them at the end. It was really impressive.
It was, and I was really impressed with IG's performance. Like it felt like they just needed the Sunday off to sort of recollect as a team, do a little bit of extra research on VG Gaming, and it literally looked like they figured VG out over that course of one day. So going into game 2, if you're VG and you've already lost a game versus IG, like you've got to be a little bit concerned right now because their existence in the tournament is on the line. If they lose this game, then they are technically out.
Yeah. It's pretty nuts. Like, that's the thing that's crazy to me about this is, you know, VG.R, they were completely and totally dominant yesterday, but ended up being able to sort of bring it back here, and now on the verge of elimination, one of the strongest teams that we've seen in the Chinese scene so far. And IG are really testing them here. So the Sven first pick followed up by the Invoker Lion. So Vici deciding not to give that over to Ferrari 430. To me, at least, he really felt like the hero that was able to bring it all back around and really punish VG.R. He found multiple kills in lanes. He was, you know, able to sort of bring it back for the Spectre, who was struggling a lot. And now they're going to end up going for the Lion and the Lone Druid as well. So we'll see if Invictus Gaming try to go pretty greedy again with their lineup. Do you expect that type of, you know, 3-core strategy to end up getting employed again?
I don't think it's going to be employed this game. I think if you're IG, you'd actually be wanting to look at VG's draft just to see how early that they want to sort of push this game, because you're already seeing a Lion and an Invoker, 2 heroes that can apply a lot of pressure during the early game just with their existence in the game. And if you're IG and you're already running a Lone Druid, you already know that Lone Druid needs about 20 to 25 minutes of farm to grab a Radiance. And if he gets shut down, then you're going to have to fall back to another core to sort of make space for the Lone Druid so he becomes relevant again. And now with the Faceless Void in the pool, not only is it going to be very difficult for these melee heroes on IG to do work, but it also means that there's going to be a lot of pressure applied now because VG have some sort of way to set up for the Invoker and Lion.
Yeah, I would agree. Interestingly, though, we're going to be seeing the Clinks taken third, and I'm wondering if they're going to run the Sven support again. Like, this kind of seems what it might end up being, because this is, I mean, Clinks in the mid-roll or Lone Druid in the mid-roll, then what do you run, like a Clinks off-lane or something like that? It's been done before, but I really don't think that it's that great. You're not able to get as much farm as you want. And VG Gaming just dropped the Chen down on IG, and this to me feels like it might be the start of the push lineup. They certainly have the capability to do it, and with Nature's Prophet still in the pool, that's, well, they probably couldn't run that, but I don't know, is there anything else that you really like here? Maybe a Jug, potentially?
VG Gaming?
Yeah.
Well, if you have a Faceless Void, you want to capitalize on that. So they could possibly think about picking up the... Man, I was going to say Gyrocopter too, and then it's like banned out.
Yeah.
They might have to go for something a little unorthodox if they want to capitalize on the Void. Otherwise, you can play the Void as if you're running... You know, the Faceless Void Sven sort of combination where the Void acts as a hero to lock down a numerous amount of IG heroes and then have that melee carry sort of take down the rest. So yeah, Jug seems like the reasonable one. And also, don't forget, with the Jug, the heal also will help the Chen in terms of pushing, just because you're going to be healing up those creeps.
Yeah. They're actually going to take out the Weaver for now. A little bit more afraid of that minus armor and the ability to counter out the Lone Druid in lane. The only other thing that they could end up running that might end up working, I really think that it's just Jug here. I feel like that makes a lot more sense. Unless.
I'm considering your thoughts on them running a Corlina. Because you'll be essentially running 2 major heroes with massive ultimates, the Lion and the Lina. Lina can also throw spells in the Faceless Void Chrono. Yeah. Lina also does very well versus the Phoenix Supernova.
I would just be concerned about the laning phase of how they actually handle that, like, because then you're sort of either committing to a safe lane Invoker or a safe lane Lina, and both of those heroes do need levels, so That's the only other thing I could think about. The only thing else that I do like about the jug is in the same way that Lena deals well with it. It's a different way of dealing with it, but you have the Blade Fury into just right-clicking down the Supernova. But it could end up working. They can kind of run a lot of different things here, but I think that push needs to be paramount. Like, that's probably the biggest thing here, and making sure that they don't like feed away kills to the Clinks. As long as Clinks, like, if they can take the tier 1 towers before Clinks really comes online and starts, death pacting the Chen creeps, then I think they're going to be in a good spot. But if Invictus Gaming come out ahead in the laning stage, I don't see how VG Gaming end up coming back from this.
All right, then. So 55 seconds on the clock here for VG Gaming. We'll have to figure out what they pick up. It's going to end up being an Ursa.
Huh.
And Chinese teams nowadays, they've been favoring the Ursa quite a bit, which I'm not quite sold on Ursa as of yet. He does have his downsides, but I think in this game, considering how fast you want to run the game as VG, I can understand it. This Mirana pick for IG, though, I'm a little bit concerned. We've seen I think we saw one roaming support Mirana not too long ago, and it wasn't that impressive.
The one thing I will say about this is being able to instantly kill those Chen creeps can help against the push. The only thing that I'm seeing is how do they deal with it outside of that. Like, XS really needs to have a good game on this Phoenix, and Wrong can't get caught out. And it looks like it's actually going to be just the straight-up offlane Phoenix, which, in terms of ability to punish that, you've got Ursa and Lion. If they manage to get the 2 stuns off on him with Overpower going, this Phoenix can probably get killed at around, like, the point when Ursa and Lion are level 3. But we'll see how this game goes. Certainly a lot on the line right now for VG.R, and they've put their faith in the Bear Man, and End is going to be playing him. We've also got here towards the mid lane FY and DDC, who are going to be playing on the Chen and Lion respectively. No is going to be playing the Invoker, and last but not least is Yang on that Faceless Void with a whole heck of a lot of regen on him.
So in the safe lane for IG, we have Cutie handling the Clinks, moving into the jungle. We have Wrong on the roaming Mirana, Bobacar on the Sven. In the mid lane, we have Ferrari 430 on the lone Druid. And finally, we have XXS on that solo offlane Phoenix. I'm also concerned about that Phoenix. As you said, the combination from the Lion and Ursa is enough to kill a Phoenix.
This is going to maybe be first blood. Yang gets the long duration stun, is going to be taking a lot of damage here, and they're looking for the body block after the jump, and it does look like they're not quite going to be able to get it off, and there's going to be the Earth Spike to keep him alive for the moment. Orb of Venom not going to be enough, and the Faceless Void lives to fight another day, but man, he took a lot of damage.
It's gonna take a while for him to regen all of that back up. Is he gonna go back to Fountain though? I feel like he may as well just head back to Fountain, just rather than using up those tangos and then heading back to lane. So when all that's said and done, we've got a rune for each side, and it's all for the mid laners. So nothing cheeky like last game, a Spectre stealing a rune. That's not gonna be happening this time.
Yeah. And they were looking to make sure that the Phoenix didn't manage to go for the Icarus dive in for the catch either. DDC actually, they ping out that he might be in the area, or I guess Chen pinged out that he might be in the area, and they're going to block this camp, make sure that Phoenix doesn't end up being able to get anything out of that. He's actually gone for the Iron Talon Phoenix build, which we don't see all that often, but is pretty unique. Worth noting that down here in the bottom, Yang needs to be so careful against this Mirana Sven combo.
Oh, he really does. I'm actually not... I don't know about this Iron Talon Phoenix that you said. Actually, there is a bit of a tussle in the bottom lane. Yang's taking a little bit of damage. They have no stun for a couple of seconds. Sven just needed a few moments and he would have just had enough mana for it, but the Faceless Void gets out. Yang is going to have a very tough time in that bottom lane. But the Iron Talon Phoenix, though, like for a lot of offlaners, it's fine. But Phoenix has 48 starting base damage, which as a jungler it's quite pitiful. If he at least had points in Fire Spirits, then I think jungling would have at least been a little bit easier. Oh, he's gonna go onto the hill instead. Okay, this works then.
Huh. What a nifty little build he's got right there. The cliff jungling Phoenix. It's good stuff. See it in your pub soon. Worth noting that they did also end up being able to go around the back here, and Wrong is going to run right on into Chen. He does have that arrow available, but Invoker's going to find him, and they've got Cold Snap. They're going to be able to commit it here. Can they get the long-range Hadouken? They do manage to catch there on a Wrong, bringing them so freaking low, but he's going to be able to walk away. Yeah, I haven't seen this before.
This is It's nice. Oh, that
Ooh.
was so close to catching out wrong. That would not have killed him though.
Yeah.
It would have been very close at least.
Well, we'll see how this ends up working. He's going to be able to take out the camp every now and then head back to lane. He's actually gotten level 2, so it's not the worst thing in the world. It's certainly not the best, though, and finding new ways to cliff jungle is always a treat for everybody. It looks like the bear is going to try and do... again, this is a lane that we talked about before, where Invoker versus the Lone Druid, eventually it ends up being kind of okay, I feel like, and they're going to go for the arrow. Actually connects on a no-no. That's going to be a really long duration stun. Can they get the kill off the back of this, though? I don't think so. He has Cold Snap available, and there's the poof back on the bear, so not going to be able to get the tower right clicks off on him. So, no, just taking a little bit more damage there mid.
I was watching the punch up in the bottom lane between Bebeka as well as Yang. And in most circumstances, Void is very happy to be going up against a solo support, just because he does have a lot of physical damage to start up with. But that completely changes when you're up against a Sven. Like, you're going to be dealing with a hero that not only has some great armor, but they're going to get a kill on it too. That's the setup that they were looking for, and Yang will go down.
We talked about the danger of this type of lineup going up against VG.R. If they get out to a lead... I feel like Chen needs to start doing some stuff, and he is trying to, you know, make some things happen. He gave the mid lane a little bit of help by allowing the Lone Druid, or rather the Tornado onto the Lone Druid bear in the mid lane, but he hasn't really been able to farm effectively and get up that, you know, large amount of farm at the start. They're going to rotate in towards mid now, and Bobaka is going to be able to scout out No-No. If they can find an initiation wrangle here, this is going to just be another quick kill, but it looks like Dark Troll Summoner is going to run into him.
Oh, the Chen's actually going to find them instead. And they find FY with the arrow. Now, looks like everyone's just going to retreat, except for Ferrari, who took a couple of pot shots, but the Savage Raw going to keep him up for now. So, yeah. No ganks mid, unfortunately, for IG.
And Yang, realizing this, backs out again. He realizes if he gets hit with the Sven stun, it's basically just a free kill. So he keeps himself alive. Bobaka heads back over here. He's going to try and get the stack, or the pull, I should say, and... from there, we'll see what VG.R's options are. Again, it really needs to come back, I think, to this Chen rotating in towards the lane. He's trying to get as much farm as he can and try and build into that quick mechanism, I'm assuming. And as soon as he does rotate into the lane, they probably are going to be able to take this off lane against the Phoenix. That being said, Phoenix has already gotten level 3, and he's actually going for more points in the Fire Spirits.
So in this game, we have to take a look at why they would consider going Fire Spirits this game, and like, against an Ursa, it's really not effective. And I think outside of that, there's no real Fire Spirit targets outside of maybe the Invoker 2, who is going to be doing some reasonable right clicks. So I'm not too sure if Fire Spirits is the way to go. Maybe he just considers grabbing the 2 points and then considers maxing Sunray from here on out. Because level 1 Fire Spirits, it's nice, but you'd want to have that extra bit of attack speed slow. So he might just keep it at level 2 and go straight for Sunray after this.
I guess the other thing that you can do is try and keep the Chen creeps off of the tower with it, but I'm not sure if that's enough value versus just the Sunray. Like, the one thing that you could say is maybe you're able to pull the creep wave back and make something happen in that way. He is actually going for more points in the Sunray now, so this makes sense. I would agree with you that 2 points is probably value enough just to make sure that they don't take down your tower incredibly quickly. But mid is starting to push down bottom here, and you take a look at the net worth. Clinks has been left pretty much to his own devices and top of the net worth because of it.
Oh, this is good news for IG. At least they've got something going right for their lanes. Well, not just QD, but obviously the Lone Druid's doing reasonably well. But this is good news for Clinks. He does suffer in a similar situation to, for example, a Riki, even though we hardly see that the hero in general. Clinks doesn't want to be the type of safe lane carry to sort of just sit in the jungle and keep on farming. He would rather be active, as that is the more efficient way of sort of farming with that Clinks. He doesn't farm that quickly, and Yang may get caught out. The arrow just lands. Very, very close. The Void could have gotten out, but he decided to go for the turn.
Yeah, either when he was going for the stun or potentially when the arrow was coming through, either one he probably could have gotten away from it. But nighttime means that gank coming is a little bit more difficult to see, but this does allow them to push down this tower now, and you've got yourselves a double creep wave that's going to be coming in fairly shortly, and the Bassi ring going as well. They're in a really good position to make this work, and they're actually going to be going for a smoke into Roshan at this point. So FY is going to take the Rosh, and God, if IG have any idea that this is going on, though, this is going to be a disaster for VG.R. They need to take this cleanly, otherwise it's going to be a huge problem.
It's 7 minutes too. Would you expect a Roshan to be taken this early? Like most times you would assume a Roshan's happening at about 10 minutes in, maybe 12 minutes, but I don't think they're going to spot this out. Oh, unless Wrong checks. No, he doesn't check the Rosh pit. Wrong. He had one job.
Yeah.
Just one job. Oh no.
That's really too bad. And so immediately realizing what's going on, they are going to think about going to the mid lane. If they're able to catch here on a no-no, he's going to have to get out of there. Does not have any points for Ghost Walk, so a quick and easy kill. Mirana picks it up. Those 2 points in that arrow, more than enough damage to find it. And this is maybe the point where VG.R were hoping to be able to make something happen. So that Invoker kill, it definitely hurts. They would have loved to be able to have him up and try to push down this tower with it, but instead, they're going to have to back on out. Ursa farms a little bit more, and it's probably going to be able to pick up his first item after the Mask of Madness here in just a couple of seconds.
So what do you think the Ursa could be looking for this game? Is Blink the ideal item pickup? Because I'd say IG are squishy enough for Ursa to really blow somebody up if he jumps on top of them.
Yeah, definitely. I would completely agree. I think Blink is the way to go. The problem, again, is just going to be this Clinks. Like, he's been able to get pretty much everything that he wants. He can go for the Death Pack now, and with the Soul Ring and that Medallion, he comes online so quickly. So, really, I feel like the best thing that maybe IG or VG.R could have gone for is DDC, and them are just hanging out down there.
Oh. Guess they're just going to have End run in. Not really like Bobica can do anything. He's just going to try and go for a juke, and he may have just out-juked End. Never mind, I lied. Never mind.
Yeah, trapped in by those creeps, they find it. Worth noting that over here to the side, DDC is just sort of making kissy faces at Wrong over in the trees, and they are going to end up maybe running into each other. Again, the Vision, they don't quite have eyes on him, and XS is looking for him, so DDC suddenly spots him out. They do have the arrow available, going to end up being able to dodge it away, so should be able to escape, but I think that he might end up going down in the end regardless. There's going to be the Earth Spike to break it, trying to run away. Sunstrike turn initiation, not able to hit. They want to go for the Hex, and I think that DDC is going to end up going down here. Hand of God, never mind, turning it back around alive, and they take the tier 1 tower in the bottom lane.
So Phoenix is committing to the Fire Spirits build this game, which I find rather particular. I guess he's really worried about some of the disable coming out for VG.R, but early on, like right now, he would be able to make the most of the Sunray. I suppose he just doesn't want to have it cancelled, because if you pop Sunray and have it instantly cancelled, that's the whole spell wasted. Whereas for Fire Spirits, you pop it and then you have the duration to throw it out. So I think it's just a safer way to sort of play that Phoenix rather than go for the straight up Sunray.
Yeah, I would agree. The problem that I do see now is how do they keep them off of these towers? Like, you've got the arrow to kill off one of the creeps, but they have a ton of heroes that are in the area here. They pop, there's the Supernova, and looks like Yang is going to end up going down, but No and N should be able to stay alive through this. Oh god, Bobica's so low. Can they hit a Sunstrike? It's not quite in the area yet, so they haven't committed it. N still getting chased down here, trying to kill off the bear. They don't have enough damage quite to be able to turn this back around, and 3 heroes are already dead. They might end up losing more. Oh, wow, that is a problem. And Sven just is able to walk away from that one, no problem.
And that was all because Yang was the first one to die. Oh, I think they found the Chen. They just need 2 more hits on the FY with the Clinks, but he doesn't want to commit. Now Faces comes in. He was fainting that Chronosphere.
Yeah.
He doesn't cast it, though. Oh, and...
Well, all right, so that hurt. That hurt a lot. IG is currently up about 2,000 gold lead currently, and even on terms of experience, but man, their drafts just have felt like they've been completely exactly what they've needed. They're going to end up tossing out another arrow, and Mirana is just farming these Chen creeps. I think that they've found a bit of an answer.
They're going to lose the tower in the meantime, though, so... Rest in pieces, T1. Luckily for IG, it's only a T1 mid. It honestly could have been worse, but because they decided to contest mid and to sort of slow down this progression for VG, it's going to be quite difficult for VG to really decide if they want to try and go for that top push, because by the time they get there, Supernova's going to be up. And there's just, I think IG... They may be too strong right now for VG to deal with, but I don't think VG can really slow down because they did opt for a very early oriented draft.
Yeah, and I think like with this support Sven too, you've got to put yourself in a position where you don't allow him to start picking up some of those key items, because if he's able to get a blink dagger, then he can start transitioning into other actual damage dealing items, and Clinks is going to find kills if you just go to farm randomly. It does look like they're going to be looking for the Ancients right now, and Nono is actually scouting them. Still no points in Wex at level 9. He tops down the ice wall, so it does mean that he realized something was going on and ends up backing out, but God, it's just such a greedy draft right now all around for VG.R, I feel like. I do have to say that, you know, with Lion, Chen about to pick up Mechanism, and Lion getting close to that Blink Dagger, actually having already completed it, they're in a position where they can fight, and they might even be willing to fight before the next Roshan.
I'd say why not? Just put some pressure onto IG, slow down them as well, and just make sure that the next team fight that they take, when's Roshan actually going to respawn? It's going to be a while. It's 30 more seconds before we get the actual timer. But yeah, definitely if you're VG, you want to exert some pressure onto IG and make them play a little bit more defensively, just because if you're IG, you know there's some great team fight on VG, like without a doubt. So we'll see if they can catch him with the surprise factor.
Well, they got the smoke up now.
There's no one here though.
Who are they going to run into? It does look like Bobaka's going to be there to tank the gank, so they find him pretty quickly, and they do manage to get that kill, which should actually secure them a decent amount here in the mid lane towards this tier 2 tower. The other thing that I'll mention is Lone Druid is actually going for Maelstorms. He ended up picking it up instead of the Radiance, and realizing he needs to come online a little bit more quickly, that's going to be his option. So pretty unique little item build there, and Hellbear Smasher's getting killed off. The second one, actually, they're taking a lot of damage from this bear, as well as those Mirana arrows, and they're going to go for the fort. Again, Yang has the Chronosphere if they want to commit it. But as for now, they just managed to kill off the Clinks. He was a little bit too far forward. Chrono now catches onto Ferrari, and they're going to be able to jump. The Ursa actually is able to catch him there as well. And now they have the Supernova, but I don't think they're going to be enough. They're going to be able to jump on in and kill it off. Suddenly, 3 are dead, and VG.R are going to start storming the base. They might have been able to do this.
That was beautiful execution coming out from VG. That chrono coming out from Yang, helping set up for End, grabbing that nice snipe onto the Clinks as well, and even grabbing the Phoenix afterwards. Like, I could see why the Phoenix would go for a supernova there, trying to sort of buy time, maybe force VG back because of the burn. But no, like, VG, they've got so much sustain now that they're not going to be pushed away by simple spells anymore. You really have to shove them out of the lane. So T3 tower's been taken, heroes are respawned, but VG coming out with a huge win on top by grabbing not just the T3, but those 3 hero kills as well.
Oh, QD, he doesn't end up getting scouted out there by DDC, but it was a little bit close. Yeah, and I'm really impressed. Again, I think that it was the right item build to go for that Maelstrom on the Lone Druid, but it does mean that their counter push potential is much less significant at each stage. Like, they have to commit the Lone Druid himself into each of these lanes, and actually, again, QD might end up being able to find a kill here onto the Invoker. He's roaming through the jungle. This is the scary part about playing against the Clinks, is he's just so quickly able to find those kills, but isn't wanting to commit to any of them yet.
There is Yang in the vicinity, but there's no Chrono.
No.
He does Time Walk though, so you still don't want to be jumping onto the Void. So the QD, he's still looking, but it looks like his prey has sort of slipped out of his grasp, as he does sort of see some of these heroes moving around. Don't forget they've got this Observer Ward, so definitely know that that Yang's here at least, farming away in the jungle.
Yeah. Well, you look at the change right now in terms of net worth, about, what is that, roughly 6,000 or so over the course of the past couple of minutes, just with taking that one team fight and then moving on in for the tier 3 tower as well. And you're looking at the way that this game is going to continue from here. If they can get a nice pick, this would be huge, and they do end up committing the Moonlight Shadow. They're going to run into a couple of those Invoker creeps, but they immediately ping it out, realizing what was going on. They're trying to chase, not quite going to be able to connect there, as the bear wasn't able to get enough body blocks, and No walks away with that one value point in Wex, level 11.
That Delta split coming out from VG as well, they ran in opposite directions to make sure that they would limit the number of casualties. So that's a free Roshan as that was happening, and it's also no Moonlight Shadow for another 110 seconds, which for IG, like, even though Moonlight Shadow just provides them a little bit of a smoke sort of thing that they can work with, not having that really limits what they can do as a team. They can keep on trying to rely on the smokes, but I feel like if you need to, start falling back to that Moonlight Shadow as a free smoke as well as a get out of free card.
Yeah.
Having it wasted like that's not really a thing that you'd be looking for, but it couldn't be
Oh.
helped. There were...
They're going to kill off the bear, too. Oh, yep, one
Oh,
last right click goes
jeez.
through. That was really well played. And now, for Lone Druid, he actually... Okay, he has the bear again. I thought that he had no resummon, but he just resummoned. So
It dies now, though. There's no resummon.
Right, and they've got Chronosphere available. I can't say enough about how good that Yang Chronosphere was in the last fight, too. Just getting the Lone Druid right on the edge of it so Ursa could blink to the other side and right-click him down to make sure they got that kill. So freaking huge. And again, it looks like with the Tier 2 down, they might turn their sights over either towards mid or potentially over towards the top lane. VG.R is scary to go up against at this stage in the game.
They want those mid-raxes. Even though they've got the clicks pushing mid, they really, really want these mid-raxes. We're stun only onto the 2 Forge Spirits, and IG, they're slowly starting to push this away. QD's still farming away in the jungle. And it looks like for now VGR they're going to be maneuvering around IG's base. Not really sure where they want to commit as of yet. The creep wave down bottom is starting to push though, so maybe they opt to go bottom, or they can just ping out top and go for that push up top instead.
Yeah, Invoker's about to get his bots. And building a little bit more net worth at this stage would be pretty good. QD was looking for the courier snipe and as of yet has not been able to find it. So a couple of other things. I like this ward that's over here by the secret shop. I always love this one. And actually, he might be able to catch this one. Oh, just not quite. Well, looking for it. He's going to be able to get it. So a nice little courier kill. China's just all about that.
If they can't find heroes, kill couriers. Why not? It's, you know, it's a nice chunk of gold. But unfortunately, with the difference, or the major difference between courier and hero, is that the courier doesn't participate in fights. So you're not essentially getting rid of a spell. But I think at this point, IG are looking for any source of gold income. Whether it be couriers, whether it be creeps, whether it be heroes, so be it, as long as it's gold. It's just, yeah, they kill a courier, but you still need to deal with VG, which they really can't deal with them yet. Like, they're trying to build the mechanism on Mirana, which Mirana still needs time. The Phoenix has gone for Robe of the Magi. I'm actually rather curious what XS is considering as his next item on this Phoenix.
It seems like probably Veil would be the option, already having that null tally up. And I also want to say that, like, this build that VGR have gone, you've got Vlad's up on Faceless Void, you've got Mech up on the Chen, already the Mask of Madness Blink Dagger up on Ursa, and about to be able to finish off the Aghanim Scepter. This is all about just, like, take these freaking towers. They've got so much sustain, and right now, if I'm IG, I'm feeling terrified. This is going to be some death ball right into their tier 3 barracks, tier 3s and barracks, and I don't really see how they stop this at this point. They don't have any great D-push. Like, Bobaka doesn't even have God Strength at this point, or any points in his cleave, so how do you stop this push? It's mainly just with Phoenix, but doesn't even have the Sunray. Well, DDC actually going to get jumped on. They have Hand of God to keep him alive for the moment. Counter initiation is possible. No, they bring him down. The Sunray's been committed. They take on down the barracks, but they've already lost the Lion. Oh, turnaround Chrono. Gonna be able to catch on to 2.
Down under 4.
Oh, God.
They got 4 heroes. That was such a nice Chrono. And they kill a hero such as QD. And to lose a Lion, like, come on, that's gonna be a great trade. Yang's gonna come in and throw a time dilation. Not gonna achieve much, and is life-stealing off of the bear, gets a mini arrow to the face, and he will be sun-rayed to death. It's just the Aegis, though. It looks like Yang's been found. He's gonna have to back out. They're gonna also send up the Sven. Meteor combo. It looks like Bobaka's gonna drop as well. This bear is melting, and that's actually gonna be the bear dead. Resummon is there. But if you're the Ursa, you're happy to take down this bear. It hits like a puppy compared to what End is able to, or capable of achieving.
Ooh, they dodged that arrow right at the end as well. And No should be able to walk out of here. That was just a really great team fight for them. I mean, they did lose the Aegis off the back of it, but they got one of the barracks. They were able to kill off QD. He didn't have buyback, so I was wondering if there was a chance for them to go back in, but they really don't want to try and fight without that Chronosphere up. And I think that probably that next item up for Faceless Void is going to be that Aghanim Scepter. Like, Blink seems reasonable, but he's been able to position these so well, even without Blink, that I don't think it's super necessary. I mean, you got to be careful about the Lone Druid. Maelstrom is there on the bear, so he's going to be hitting hard, but I'm just not sure about their ability to sort of clear out all of these creeps that they've got.
They can't clear it. That's the problem. The only one that can efficiently clear it for IG is the Lone Druid, but it's just one hero. If the spirit bear dies and there's no resummon, then all of a sudden you're gonna have to fall back to 2 to 3 heroes to just clear out one creep wave.
No.
But it looks like for now, look at DDC's positioning. He's sitting inside the tree line so he doesn't get caught out, and they don't know that QD's here. He just skirt by, and now IG knows that Ursa is there.
Well, and they're going to back out now. I think that they're just a little bit too afraid about what was going to potentially go. And that's the thing is, like, they can't really feel comfortable jumping on the Ursa if they don't have eyes on everybody else. So really great decision-making there from IG, but I feel like the draft that they've taken here has just not put themselves in a position to win. Also, Chen's going to be going for Ags next, so that Frenzy ability that's going to be up also... this is going to be so scary. Like, everything now is just going to be coming in through spades for VG.R. Aghanim Scepter is up on the Invoker. Doesn't quite have that max level yet of Invoke, so it's still a 5-second cooldown, but 2 seconds going to be there shortly.
I think for Yang, you said you didn't think he was going to pick up the BKB, right? Or did you think he was?
Well, at this point, I think it's going to be after Aghanim Scepter, since he's already got the Aghanim Scepter. But yeah, I don't know. I think that it's worth it for him to be going for it, like the Ags first, because of the long duration stun.
He does go for Blink. I was actually going to argue for Blink, just because they're getting all these items. And then now that the Blink is online, he has a form of to sort of jump in on IG in their own base.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, it just makes that high ground defense a little bit more difficult for IG, and they won't be able to just suddenly converge onto one hero because Yang will be on top of them with a chrono.
Yeah, that's true. It gives them a ton of flexibility. And I think the only thing then they need to be worried about is like vision inside the base, which they can probably get. Like, they've been able to get wards up inside there and in general send the creeps up first and foremost. And they've got the Ancient Thunderhide again, who has that frenzy ability and 1400 HP. He's pretty freaking tanky. And they're smoked up and gonna try and go down that mid lane.
So for now, IG, do they expect this though? Ferrari's gonna move forward, and the only support he has is wrong. So all of a sudden he just gets jumped on. Wow, VG. They're showing a lot of respect to IG. They actually thought there was a lot more support behind the lone druid.
The Savage Roar. I think that they would have gone for it if they hadn't have got that. So they maybe moved a little bit too far forward. And Wrong is actually going to scout out all of VG.R. So you're right, they're giving him a lot of information. Roche is going to respond though, and this is going to be Aegis and Cheese, the next one that gets taken.
So does VG decide to go for the high ground push now, or do you think they're going to maybe go for a feint push halfway up, and then they'll just back up for Roche?
I think that they should go for Roche, but it was a relatively early spawn timer, so I don't think that they realize that it's even up yet. Yeah, they're going to go up high ground at this point, and I don't know. I think that if they basically it all comes down to the Chronosphere, and they're going to jump forward on
Oh, wrong. It all went wrong. And the lone druid bear dies as well, so that forces a resummon from Ferrari. The bear's gonna start hitting down on the Wild Wing, but ends there. He says, "Get away from my creeps." And unfortunately, Sunray does nothing to Ancient Thunderhide, so not really going to be able to do that much to XXS. But yeah, now that they know that the Blink is on Yang, IG are really hesitant to go anywhere near VG.
Yeah, they really are. And this is the other cool thing, like they cast the Frenzy on themselves for these Ancient Thunderhides. You can put Alacrity on them. Like, these creeps suddenly start to do actually a ton of damage, and now they've also got that the bonus HP, 15%. God, this is where Chen really starts to go into overdrive with this ability here, and I'm curious when they end up being able to go down for this Roshan. They should probably check it now, but with the barracks gone, I just don't see a way for IG to really, like, there's not one item that's going to bring them back in this game. They just need to team fight their way out of it.
They did pick up a fresh BKB onto QD, and the entire team has decided to smoke. So with the BKB pickup, they're hoping to try and grab at least a positive ratio of kills to losses. They will check the Roche though, and they know Roshan is up, but do they know where VG is? There's no ward, so the only way for them to safely scout it is to send the bear. But it looks like they're just going to wait in the Roche pit.
This is going to be a quick take if they're able to get it, and this would be one of the ways that IG get back into this game. The only problem is that you're going to be fighting around the Roche pit potentially with the Chronosphere. And jumps in. He pops his ultimate. They have the Chrono going to catch on to 4. I don't know if it's going to be enough, though. They set up the huge Earth Spike, and there's not actually a ton of damage. There's going to be the Tornado counter initiation. Supernova up on the high ground. Wrong just trying to get away. Does manage to get taken out, and Yang is going to kill it. Oh, God. QD ends up falling. 4 heroes are dead. They're blinking and chasing after Bobaca. The support Sven ends up going down, and this is going to be Roshan. It might be the end.
This may very well be the beginning of the end for IG. VG.R, they played that perfectly. I can understand IG trying to go for a quick snipe of the Roche. They did have a lot of minus armor, and they sort of wanted to take away that asset from VG.R, but instead getting caught out, that Chrono setup followed up into Earth Spike, everything just went completely wrong for IG. And now the push begins as we have our Lion probably looking to put a ward down at least so they can sort of spot things out. Or they can just, you know, keep going in with End. There's no backdoor protection. Or they're trying to go for a kill onto Wrong.
Yeah, you're not safe by your tier 4s. That hurts. They are going to be able to do a good amount of damage to End here. That Sunray is finally starting to kick in, but might be a little bit too little too late. Yang jumps forward. They catch as well onto Bobaca, and the support Sven continues to get chased on down. They've just got everything that they could possibly need. No more mana left on that bear, but more importantly, no more life left on this tier 3 towers. It's starting to fall, and Alacrity is already there for Ursa. This is a problem.
VG has really come back into game 2. So they're not completely out of this. Like first game, they looked very questionable as a team. It just sort of felt like they lost it. But then game 2, much more solid gameplay. So knowing that VG is able to come back like this, they almost lost QD. He has to pop the BKB defensively.
Yeah, they were able to bash him up. It's God.
But knowing that VG's capable of playing like this, though, going into game 3, it's going to be harder for IG. Look at that credit from you.
Get away from my game. Get out of it. VG.R making a freaking statement here in game number 2. We are not going to be denied. We're not going to get knocked out that early, and that sets us up for game number 3. IG versus VG.R. Who's going to end up coming out on top? So far, the score between these two teams in this tournament is 1 win for IG and 3 wins for VG.R, and we'll see if they're going to be able to make the one count that really does. Danny, any final thoughts before we move on to game number 3?
Okay, I'm going to ask you a question.
Okay.
And then you can ask me a question. I don't even know what your question's going to be. So, going into game 3, full-on prediction. Who do you think is going to win?
I think that VG.R are going to win by virtue of a first-round pick Nature's Prophet.
So, first pick Nature's.
First pick Nature's. For you, who do you think is going to win? We're getting creative here.
I honestly want to root for IG. If they can get a hold of Invoker again for Ferrari, I can definitely see IG taking this. I think he plays the best tempo controller for IG. They can't really have XXS do it, or they can't really have QD do it. Ferrari really has to step it up and sort of help his team stay in it. So 1-1, we'll see if your prediction or my prediction wins.
All right, we'll see what ends up happening. Thank you guys for tuning in. We're going to be back in just a couple of minutes with game number 3 of IG versus VG.R. Stick around, everybody. More H Cup presented by BTS.